Well, hello again from Mrs. Ferguson. We are here at Columbia once again. Same outfit, so you can guess it's probably the same day. Just getting into this book, wondering a little more about this little boy we just met. Also, Croc's getting a little bored here too today, as you can see, hanging from the layup over here. But he is starting to learn about idioms. So I don't think he quite gets it yet, but we're working on it. So anyway, hope you're having a good day. This is chapter 10 from Louisiana's Way Home. And let's find out what's going on next. My hopefulness did not last long. It turned out that Granny had paid for only one night at the Good Night Sleep Tight. And at 11 o'clock the next morning, Bernice was knocking at her door saying, "You will pay now or you will get out. Thank you very much." Her hair was still in curlers. "I'm recovering from a traumatic event," said Granny in her new toothless voice. She stood at the door in her nightgown. Her legs were skinny and white. She looked like a troubled ghost. Yes, Jackson, you're right. That is a simile. Thank you. Bernice said, "I have absolutely no interest in hard luck stories. I'm interested in you paying for another night, or I'm interested in you packing up and leaving. One thing or another." Granny said, "Very well. I do not have cash, but I do have Louisiana." "What?" said Bernice. "Louisiana," said Granny. "Come here." I went and stood in front of Granny. She put her hands on my shoulders. I could feel her fingers trembling. I had never known Granny to tremble, and her hands were hot. It felt like she was on fire. "Yes, Caleb, you're right." "She sings," says Granny to Bernice. "So what?" said Bernice. "She sings like an angel." "Yes, Addie, you're correct," said Granny. I stood there with Granny's trembling, feverish hands on my shoulders, and I felt a wave of darkness and despair roll over me. Yes, I know. You all know that one. What would become of us? What would become of me? I thought about the boy on the roof and the crow named Clarence and the vending machine stocked full of wondrous things. I thought about Beverly and Ramie. I thought about Archie and Buddy. I missed them. I missed them all. I wanted to go home. But who cares? Who cared what I wanted? Certainly not Granny, which is how I ended up at the Good Shepherd Lutheran Church, wearing my best dress in preparation for singing to someone named Mrs. Lulu, who was the church organist who had made up her mind in advance not to be impressed with me. And that was fine, because I was certainly not impressed with her. When Bernice and I arrived, Mrs. Lulu was playing on the organ. She was pounding her way through the song by Bach. I felt sorry for Bach because Mrs. Lulu's heart was clearly not involved with the music at all. It was very painful to listen to her play. Bach is a very famous pianist. Your heart has to be involved with the music or else there's no point. That is what Granny has always told me, and I believe it to be true. Also, Miss Lulu was eating a caramel while she was playing the organ. I could smell it. It's not at all professional to eat caramel and play the organ at the same time. And for those of you who don't know what an organ is, it's basically a piano, but it has a very much louder sound, more electronic sound. Miss Lulu made us wait until she had played the Bach all the way to the end, and then she turned and said, "Good afternoon, Bernice." "Hello, Miss Lulu," said Bernice. "Here we are, although I'm not sure exactly why." Bernice had a somewhat confused look on her face. It was because she was dealing with Granny. I had seen the look on the faces of many people. Bernice was wondering just exactly how she had been talked into what she had been talked into. Granny had a strange power over people, even without her teeth. "Tell me a story about this child again," said Miss Lulu, working the caramel around in her mouth. Miss Lulu had curls in her hair. The curls bounced when she talked. Curls, or the hope of them, seemed to be very popular in Richfield, Georgia. "Well," said Bernice. She sighed. "She and her grandmother are staying at the motel, and they cannot pay for another night." "Isn't that just terrible?" said Mrs. Lulu. "Some people," she tossed her head, and then the curls bounced up and down, and the smell of caramel wafted through the air. Sorry. "I do not believe that the people should eat candy without sharing it." There was a stained glass window above Miss Lulu's head, and if I squinted at it, I could turn all the colors in the window into a kaleidoscope. and make Miss Lulu's face and curls go fuzzy. So that is what I did, and it was very comforting. In the meantime, Bernice went on talking. The grandmother says that the girl can sing. She says that I can make money having the girl sing at funerals and weddings. And since you are the one who plays the organ at the weddings and funerals, I thought I would give you a call. And well, here we are. Miss Lulu looked up at me and down. I looked her up and down back. She had on snagged stockings. Her nails were bitten down. So what if she had bouncy curls? Well, said Mrs. Lulu, it doesn't seem probable, does it? She looks like something blown in by a storm. Yes, I know, you all know. Bernice sighed. I know it, and Lord help me, you should see the grandmother. I feel like I'm being hoodwinked. I am not a fan of being hoodwinked. One time was enough. Yes, well, Bill was a piece of work, and love does make us do foolish things, said Miss Lulu. But you did get the motel. Bernice made a huffing noise. Miss Lulu said, the truth is that there are often requests for someone to sing at a funeral, and since Idabelle Bleecker passed, there hasn't been anyone with the voice to do it. Is there a phone I could borrow, Miss Lulu? I said, hoping to achieve success by surprise attack. I had seen the minister's office on the way to the sanctuary. The door was closed, but there was a sign that said, Minister's Office, Reverend Frank Obertask, Assistant Advice and Healing Words. I was not particularly interested in receiving assistance, advice, or healing words. But every church office has a phone. I could go into the office of Reverend Obertask and pick up the phone and call Beverly or Ramey and have them come and get me. What? Said Miss Lulu. I need to call somebody, I said. Ignore her, said Bernice. She's odd. To me, she said, we did not come here for you to place phone calls. We came here to see if you can sing. Miss Lulu crashed out a few chords on the organ, and then she said, we will perform Just a Closer Walk with Thee. Well, that is a song I know. Miss Lulu started to play, and I opened my mouth and sang. I sang as if my life depended on it, which I guess you could say it did, or at least my room at the Goodnight Sleep Tight depended on it. I sang as if the blue fairy from Pinocchio was smiling at me. Wonder what that is. I sang as if Beverly and Ramey and Archie and Buddy could hear me and would use the song to find their way home or their way to me. I sang as if I knew the name of the boy on the roof. I sang as if he knew my name too. The Georgia sun shone in through the stained glass window. At some point, Miss Lulu stopped playing the organ and just sat with her hands on the keys and looked at me. There was a big splotch of orange on her face from the stained glass, and a splotch of green lighting up one of her many curls. All of this was good because it made her look somewhat friendlier. I kept singing. Bernice was crying. Tears were rolling down her face. The world smelled of unshared caramel candy and dust and beeswax. Everything was broken. I knew that. But I felt as if I could fix it if I just kept singing. And so I kept singing. It is good to have a talent in this world. When I finished, there was a long silence. Bernice snuffled, and she said, bless her heart, I guess you can never say what riches people contain. And then Miss Lulu asked me if I liked angel food cake. I told her that I most certainly did. My goodness, who doesn't like angel food cake? The three of us went down to the social hall, and Miss Lulu gave me a piece of cake on a china plate that had little pink flowers all around its rim. It was a very pretty plate. I sat on a metal folding chair that felt cold against my legs, and I ate the whole piece of cake without bothering to talk in between bites. Miss Lulu and Bernice watched me. Who taught you to sing? Said Miss Lulu when I finished eating. My granny, I said. I picked at the angel food crumbs on my fork. Miss Lulu nodded. Her curls bounced up and down. Do you use curlers, or is your hair naturally curly? I asked. Miss Lulu stared at me with her mouth hanging open. It was as if I had asked her to solve the most difficult math problem in the world. I was starting to think that she was not a very bright woman. Miss Lulu turned and looked at Bernice and said, There's a funeral on Friday. Hazel Elkhorn. I am playing the organ. I am sure that the Elkhorn family would like someone to sing. Bernice nodded slowly. Her face was puffy from crying. I guess we will start there and see what happens. How much should we charge? And since I was done with my angel food cake, and since it was almost as if I were invisible to them as they did their planning and cogitating about how to make money from me, I stood up and said, "Excuse me, I will be right back." I went up the stairs and out of the social hall and knocked on the door of Reverend Frank Obertask's office. And when Reverend Obertask did not answer, I opened the door and went inside, and there it was, a phone, sitting on the desk, just as I thought it would be. My heart beat very fast. My salvation and rescue were at hand. Interesting. Is she going to be able to remember phone numbers? I know a couple of you that don't know your phone numbers. This is a great time to learn your phone numbers and maybe to do a couple extra chores for your parents. Maybe help them out with dinner. That would be awfully nice. Man, maybe I need to have my son do that. That would be wonderful. So anyway, I am going to go ahead and put our lovely bookmark away in our book for chapter 11. I want you guys to think about a talent that you have, something that you're really good at. You each have them, I know you do. And just maybe think how you can use that talent sometime in your life. Just kind of an interesting thought for today. Also, I'm wondering of any themes that you can think that are apparent in this story and why you think those themes are what this author, Kate D. Camillo, is trying to get across to us. Kind of some interesting things happening in the story. We're meeting some interesting people, and I think that Louisiana has a fetish with curls because she keeps talking about curls. So anyway, miss you guys tons. Wish you were sitting here with me right now yelling out figurative language. I'm sure you're driving your parents crazy doing that, and that's great because then I know that we have done a job well done here. Remember, if you have any questions or just want to write me, email me, Class Dojo me. I'm going to try to get Croc out of his little energetic spurt here, and I want to keep him safe, you know. We have a couple more lessons to do on figurative language, so hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are staying clean and sanitized, and missing you lots, but I know that you are having good times with your family. Be nice to your brothers and sisters if you have any. If not, be nice to your pets. And all of you need to be nice to your parents and grandparents or wherever you are during the days. And we'll talk to you later. Hope you guys are doing well. See ya. I'm out.